Mike Fields, everybody. He's going to explain to us what's going to be on the ballot November the 8th and why it's important we show up and vote. What is it, Mike?
Well, it's a special purpose local option sales tax, which is the Splost. And most people are familiar with that. It's a continuation of a 1-cent sales tax that's been in place since the early 90s. And that's used to fund a lot of capital improvement projects. You're talking about roads, water, sewer improvements, things of that nature, public safety. And that's basically what is in this package. It starts in 2014 and it goes through 2020. And the estimate is that it'll raise approximately $220 million off of the 1-cent sales tax over that 6-year period. It goes for projects in Bartow County.
Are people are they prone to pass these because they think it's only a penny, so they just pass them?
I don't know what all of them are thinking. They passed in the past.
Well, what has the current Splost done for us? The one that right now, what has that one done for us?
Well, you got a number of things. The conference center, the Clarence Brown Conference Center, is a product of the Splost. The Frank Moore Judicial Building is the first Splost. If you're looking at the jail, that was a Splost project. There's also a lot of other things that you don't see. Water, again, you're talking about running water, sewer lines, projects of that nature. There's $37 million in the county alone for those projects. The county has a portion. They have about 68%. The city's got a portion. The city of Cartersville is about 20%. So those funds are dispersed according to the population base. So in Adairsville, there's a public safety building that will be built. There's some economic development, water and sewer lines that will be run as well in New Harley, and just a whole bunch of different things.
Who's in charge of how this money is spent?
Well, the individual cities and the counties, they submit a list. This is our project list, and those lists have to go through. They have a capital improvement element that has to be approved through the state, and they have to submit that every 5 years. Here's what we're going to fix. Here are our long-term projects. So those are typically what you see. You take that list. These are things that have to be done, need to be done. Some of them are mandated, and you got to do them anyway, whether the Splost passes or not. And so, those are all things that you try and get done. The benefit of having it on a 1-cent sales tax is that we're not the ones paying all the taxes. If you look at it versus a property tax, it is a much better type of revenue source, because that's something that the people that corporations are helping to pay, that people from out of town are paying. If you look at based on census data, there's about $1.8 billion is earned in Bartow County every year. Now, out of that, you got to pay a house, you got to pay for your taxes, you got to pay for food. None of those are subject to sales tax. So you figure there's only 1% of what's left is probably, let's call it $10 million. There's not a hard number that I can reference, but that's about accurate according to, if you take the Department of Labor figures and statistics for what's spent on those things I mentioned, it's about $10 million basically that's generated, and that's roughly about half of what we bring in from a Splost tax. So corporations and visitors, particularly with us being on the interstate, a lot of visitors that come in and will help fund our projects, and I think that's what people look at that and say, okay, geez, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. You convince me we profit greatly by it.
Yeah, it is, and it's a great way. We're talking that some of these projects you just, you got to do. You got to have water. You have to have sewage run down Emerson, because right now we got, one of my big concerns, we got septic tanks in a growing area next to our drinking water, and that's just not a good idea. It doesn't take long to figure that out, So we need to have sewage run down there. We've got a sewer treatment plant the county has. They can fund through that. We got to do that anyway. This is a great venue to pay for it.
So pass the Splost November the 8th.
November the 8th. Vote for the Splost. I don't like taxes. If you got to have one, this is the kind I have.
Mike Fields, thank you.
Thank you.